Okay, so good day everyone and have a happy Saturday to all. Now, so for today, we're going to discuss about brand management and innovation. Upon successful completion of this module, uh, the student will possess the necessary knowledge and skills to proficiently oversee brands, develop brand strategies, cultivate innovation, and stimulate growth by employing creative thinking and strategic execution. So students should possess the necessary skills to effectively use these concepts now within practical business context and make valuable contribution towards the establishment of robust brands and inventive solutions. So we tackled about understand the core concept of branding, including brand identity, brand image, brand equity, and brand positioning. We look into, of course, how to develop and execute effective brand strategies that align with organizational goals and resonate with target audiences. Explore the techniques now for building a strong brand presence through consistent messaging, design, and customer experience. Now, understand the opportunities and challenges associated with extending a brand into a new product or market categories. No, learn how to craft compelling brand stories and messages that effectively communicate brand values and resonate with consumers. Develop the ability to measure and assess brand performance using metrics such as brand awareness, perception, loyalty, and customer engagement. No, we could able to gain insights into managing brand crisis, including strategies to address negative publicity and restore brand reputation. No, understand the different types of innovation, including product innovation, process innovation, and model innovation. Of course, learn how to develop an innovation strategy that align with overall business objectives and drives competitive advantage. We can explore techniques for generating creative ideas and fostering an innovative culture within organizations. Now, understand the role of market research in identifying unmet consumer needs, emerging trends, and opportunities for innovation. Learn how to create prototypes and conduct testing to validate new ideas and concepts before full-scale implementation. And of course, develop skills in managing the innovation process from ideation to commercialization while considering resource allocation and risk management. We could try to understand the concept of open innovation and collaboration with external partners to foster creativity and access external expertise, and learn how to measure the success to innovation efforts through metrics such as return of investment, time to market, and market share growth. We need to accept the fact that brand management is a concept that pertains to the strategic activities and process involved in effectively managing and controlling a brand. It encompasses several activities such as brand positioning, brand identity development, brand communication, and brand equity. And the establishment for a distinctive identity for a company's products and services is vital for businesses as it encompasses the fundamental concept of branding. Additionally, it has the potential to foster client loyalty and establish an emotional connection between customers and the organizations. The concept of branding can be intricate. Nevertheless, it is imperative to grasp the fundamental principle prior to embarking on a product plan. And to give us more details about the topic, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, class. So, my name is Benedict Molina. I'll be presenting you, or I'll be tackling about brand management and innovation. So, our learning objectives is to understand what is brand management, learn the importance of innovation in a company, know the different types of product innovation, identify different types of infringement, and determine how brand protection can affect the product and organization. So, first is what is brand management? Brand management is a function of marketing that uses techniques to increase the perceived value of product line or brand over time. Effective brand management enables the price of products to go up and builds loyal customers through positive brand associations and images or strong awareness of the brand. So brand management is one of the function of marketing that uses techniques to increase the perceived value of product line. Um, it is responsible for overall management of the brand. This includes everything from product development, marketing, to advertising, public relations. These aspects works together to create a particular image or reputation for a brand, well, the goal of brand management is to create a strong, positive brand image that resonates with the different target audience, differentiate the brand from competitors, and build customer loyalty and trust. So there are three elements of management. It is brand recognition, brand equity, and brand loyalty. And we will tackle this one by one. So first is brand recognition. So brand recognition refers to the ability of consumer to identify and recognize a brand based on its distinctive visual elements such as logos, colors, typography, or tagline. It is measures of how well a brand is known and familiar to the target audience. Um, actually, brand management starts with brand recognition. If a company can't evoke positive emotions in consumers when they see a brand, that may be a no brand to manage. In addition, brand recognition entails ensuring recognition of a brand invokes a favorable response instead of brand opposition. So, as you can see here in my presentation now, yung mga images na to, I'm sure all of us are familiar na, no? Kahit na wala yung mismong brand name, alam na natin yung, by just looking at the logo, makikilala agad natin kung anong brand siya. And actually, hindi siya limited sa just logo lang. Brand recognition is yung nakikilala din natin mm, yung brand by its tagline or possible na ah, yung may memory cue ba sa'yo na kapag narinig mo or halimbawa, eto, example nito yung 'pag naririnig mo yung Batang May Laban, na ang nakakaisip ka kaagad nung, brand ng gatas. Kasi parang iyon yung, paulit-ulit nilang nai-advertise during commercial. Puwede din yung ang sarap ng feeling mo, which is also a brand ng, biscuits naman na lagi din actually nilalagyan na nila ng tone para maging catchy sa mga commercials, and that is also part of brand recognition. So, next is, um, brand equity. So, brand equity is what comes to your mind when you hear this brand. Example is Apple brand. Ano ba yung naiisip nyo guys kapag sinabi na, Apple yung gamit niya? Or ah, anong, parang kapag nakita mo tong, halimbawa ako gumagamit ako ng phone na Apple, anong naiisip mo agad na parang anong nape-perceive mo about that item? Well, sa akin yung ano, yung for me, Apple is, pag sinabing Apple is maganda yung security and may sarili siyang operating system. And kapag naman narinig ko yung Nokia, ang naiisip ko is matibay. Kasi 'di ba before, like nung wala pa yung mga smartphones is Nokia naman talaga yung mostly ginagamit natin, which is very durable siya kahit ibato mo, nabasa na ng tubig, lagay mo lang sa bigas, then after that gagana na ulit. So, um, brand equity refers to the value and perception that a brand holds in the mind of consumer. It represents the intangible assets and reputation that a brand has built over time. Um, Brand equity is the commercial value of product's image. Though company doesn't actually receive the direct dollars of value from its product having high brand equity, it often translates to a greater sales as consumers associate a product or brand with a greater value. Brand equity is built over time through positive experience, associates, and demonstrated value. So, um, one of the example of this is Apple. Apple has built strong brand reputation for its innovative and user-friendly products. Uh, Apple customers are often loyal and willing to pay premium for their products, which contribute to the brand's high brand equity. So, as what I've said before, kasi 'di ba, ah, parang marinig mo pa lang 'tong brand na 'to, may perception ka na, may idea ka na kung ano yung quality niya. And that kung yung ganda ng quality na na-perceive mo, I'm sorry, yung perception mo about the quality of the brand, ganun, kung gaano kataas yung ano mo doon, tingin mo doon sa brand na yun, it contributes to the brand equity. As what I've said before, yung Nokia, though kasi wala na masyadong, or I'm not sure kung may Nokia pa nga ba ngayon. Um, Pagka ikaw sinabi mo na before siguro nung wala pang smartphone, 'pag sinabi na Nokia yung gamit mo, alam na na pamato. Pamato nga yung tawag nila dun kasi nga bato mo na, naihagis mo na napakalayo. After nun, bubuuin mo lang yung casing at yung battery, okay na ulit. And that is brand equity. Kumbaga yung perception na once na narinig ng customer yung brand mo is nagkakaroon sila ng magandang impression. Meron silang magandang impression towards your brand. And next is yung um, brand loyalty. So, how likely are you to continue using the same brand of service or product? So, brand loyalty is when a customer continue to purchase from the same brand over and over again. Despite competitors offering similar products or service, it is a measure of the strength of the relationship between a consumer and a brand, where the consumer is committed to choosing that brand consistently and is resistant to switching to competitors. Um, Actually, it is one of the important elements here, no? Kasi a customer may recognize a brand, uh, and the customer may even assess strong positive value towards a brand. However, if that customer is easily swayed to a competing product, brand management has failed. Uh, the objective of brand loyalty is to invoke such as strong relationship between the consumer and the brand that consumer can fathom diverting from the brand's product. Whereas brand recognition occurs on the front end of brand management, brand loyalty is a long-term achievement that is earned in a variety of ways. Companies must demonstrate their products meet consumer needs. In addition, companies must ensure strong customer service ensures a customer has a positive experience along the entire life of the product. So, of course, bago natin masabi, parang kasi yung brand recognition madali lang kasi 'di ba nga ang dami ng ways to promote, to advertise para ma-recognize yung brand mo. Yung brand equity, yes, possible na may naririnig ka na na good feedbacks or yung perception mo about this item is maganda or this brand is maganda, but it doesn't make you stay. Kasi yung loyalty is yung um, ang daming mong choice that offers the same features, that offers the same character pero doon ka pa din sa brand na yun nag stick. Like, sa example ko na lang dito yung na-share ni Laurente before na Apple product user siya, hindi siya nag-switch. Though, may Samsung, may, may Samsung naman, may LG naman. Ang daming brands. May Vivo, ano pa ba? Oppo. Ang daming, kung tutuusin ngayon, ang dami ng brands ng phone na available in the market that you can choose from with the same features. Makakapag, ano ka naman, text, calls, makakapag-install ka ng mga gusto mong laro. Kumbaga yung mga features niya is almost the same, but the quality, yun yung binabalik-balikan kasi usually ng customer, di ba? So, possible na may nakita si Laurente dun sa Apple na hindi niya nakita sa ibang brand That's why he stick with Apple brands. And that is brand loyalty. Yung hindi ka nagpapasway sa ibang brand kahit na nag-offer sila ng same features. So, next is we'll tackle about the effective brand management techniques. So, first is establish branding basics. So, yung establish branding basics, brand management often begins with basics. And that means establishing a strong vision statement, logo, target audience, and vision statement. Though they are often created by marketing team during a company or product's infancy, it's up to the brand management team to further refine and drive the branding basics. Um, so, dito sa established branding basics, dito na yung before ka maglo-launch ng before ka though naka-launch ka na, possible kasi na yung sa brand management team, sila pa yung nagre-refine. Parang, for example, si marketing na is nag-provide na sila ng general concept. Si brand management team, sila na yung magbibigay ng specific na na tanong or kailangan nilang ano, ito kasi merong mga kailangan na masagot na, for example, ito, kasi nga 'di ba sa branding basics kailangan na ng ano yung mga ano yung mission statement mo? Anong logo yung gagamitin mo? Who is your target audience? What is your brand visions? Um, these branding basics that you need to answer as a part of branding to establish a branding basics. Ayun yung mga parang umpisang-umpisa pa lang, kailangan mo siyang malapatan ng sagot so you can start up a brand. So, next is yung create compelling stories. So, create compelling stories. Well, as the product of or a company begins to used by consumers, it is critical that the brand management teams strengthen the relationship between the good and user. This means capitalizing on emotional stories by tapping into human connection to however the company's products are being used. So, ano nito, no? Ang example nito is yung um, uh, Dove. Example, one of the example nito is yung Dove. Dove is yung meron silang real beauty campaign wherein obviously yung mga brand ng Dove is to nurture, moisturize lang or for example ito is yung soap. Um, kasi ano na ngayon 'di ba? Common na common ngayon lahat gusto na may pampaputi, gusto nakakaputi yung sabon, gusto may vitamin C which is nakaka-fair na complexions. While si Dove, parang embrace the real you, nag-aano sila ng meron nag ano si Dove ng um, real beauty campaign wherein as you can see yung sa mga brand mga ano nila gamit nila is usually uh, moisturizing lang or nourishing lang sa ano, halimbawa yung sabon, nourishing lang siya or moisturizing lang siya, hindi siya nakakaputi kasi nga, kumbaga hindi ka, ayaw mong pumuti. Kumbaga hindi yun yung goal mo. Ang goal mo lang is um, parang pagandahin yung kutis na meron ka and hindi mo kailangan ng pumuputi or yung katulad kasi ngayon, 'di ba, yung Kojisan, ang dami ng gluta na ano, sa kanila, kasi hindi naman lahat gustong pumuti. So, possible na yung campaign nila na create compelling stories na, ayun nga, di ba yung nakikita naman natin sa sa may mga commercials nila wherein kaya mong i-express yung sarili mo without changing it. Di ba yung nakikita mo sa hair color, yung mga may hair colors, pwede nilang gamitin yung shampoo, conditioner ni Dove. Kasi may mga shampoos and conditioner na nakaka-damage sa hair mo, especially kung dyed yung hair mo, kung may kulay siya. Um, and then yung sabon is nakaka-nourish lang siya and moisturizing lang siya, hindi siya nakakaputi. Especially kung gusto mo i-embrace yung morena beauty mo. Yung ano din niya, yung lotions din niya is moisturizing lang, with collagen, ganyan. Para lang, kumbaga parang, ah, paano ba yung wording nito? Parang nile-level up lang niya yung meron ka na, pero without changing it. Ayun yung part ng creating compelling stories. So, next is yung leverage software. So, of course, ngayon sa mga businesses natin ngayon, kasi ano na nasa digital era na tayo wherein a company must possess needed na tools para makapag-function siya efficiently. So, sa brand management is kailangan din nilang mag-assess alin ba yung uh, system or tools na kailangan nila para makita nila yung magiging effect or yung engagement nung during the brand management. Ito yung example nito is CRM. Well, uh, lev- ito kasi yung I'm sorry. Ito yung mga sa leverage softwares. Ito yung mga it includes any televised, radio or printed advertising. Dito yung mga saan ba tayo mag-focus? Sa social media na ba? Since everyone na social media na these days wherein kahit bata kaya nang panoorin yung advertisement mo. Magfo-focus ba tayo sa radio? Um, saan ba tayong mga ah, alin yung mga possible natin na gamitin, ways na pwede natin gamitin to ipakalat yung brand management. Kumbaga yung brand mo pala mismo. So, um, dito ka magde-decide kung, kasi 'di ba ngayon, iba-iba din ang channels. So, pwedeng sa TV, sa ang channel, may mga, it's either, though wala nang may 5, may 7, aano ka kung saan yung i aano mo siya kung saan yung alam mo na mas maraming possible na nanonood na that can help that can help your company to or your brand to be recognized more. So example, as what I said before, no, CRM is also um, part of leverage software. Sa CRM or customer relationship management, it allows the businesses to manage and track their interactions with the customer and prospects. Customer is yun na yung currently consumer na nila yon, while prospects is yung mga possible or future consumer pa lang. It helps in organizing and centralizing customer data, automating sales, marketing processes, and providing analytics to enhance customer engagement and retention. So next is um, consider branding language. So branding language in marketing, it refers to specific words, phrases, messaging used by a company to communicate its brand identity, values, and unique selling proposition. It is the language that helps establish a strong and consistent brand image in the minds of consumer. Here's some of the example is yung sa Nike, yung Just Do It na slogan nila na wherein Nike conveys a sense of empowerment, motivation, and determination. Um, it encapsulates their brand identity of inspiring and enabling athletes to push their limits. This branding language has become synonymous with Nike and has been consistently used across their marketing campaigns, reinforcing their brand image and resonating with their target audience. Uh, Next is establish internal rules. So all these tips don't matter if internal branding and marketing teams aren't aligned. Therefore, the brand management team must effectively implement limits and rules on how to certain activities are performed. For example, the brand management team may restrict the use of a certain fonts, images, design, or color schemes. Excuse me. Parang ano na, established internal rules na. Ito na yung si brand management na yung nagbibigay ng line kung alin yung susundin for them to achieve their goal. So, there are benefits of brand management. So, first is yung strong employee engagement. Um, Brand management begins with the internal buy-in of the values, principles, and perception of a product. By ensuring all people in the company are part of brand management process, employees may be more likely to buy into the strategic plan of the brand and company. So the thought here is you can convince other to buy your product if your employees itself don't have believe in your product. Brand management should start inside the company by being able to persuade your employees on how good your product is. So um, usually yung mga company, meron ako example nito is yung may kakilala ko, I have friend of mine na yung asawa niya is like merong katungkulan sa Vivo. And then yung Vivo is yung mga may katungkulan sa Vivo is ini-issuehan sila ng mga bagong for example kung ano yung latest model ng Vivo, ini-issuehan sila. It also it's also part ng employee engagement wherein yung employee mismo is persuade nila na gamitin yung product nila. Of course, kasi pag nakita yun, parang ano na rin yun promotion na rin yun sa product mo. And then, or sa brand mo. And aside from that, yung mismong employee na nakaka-experience ng ah, nung brand product na meron ka is could also contribute, no? Pwedeng sila din mismo magsabi ng magagandang feedback about your product and it can help na makapag-persuade ka pa ng other customer through that. So, brand management benefits is also increase in sales quantity. Stronger brand management drives brand quantities. As more consumers are tied to a brand or positively recognized brand, they are more likely to choose it over an unfamiliar alternatives. Excuse me. Example of this is Apple. Um, because of Apple management has good brand management, Apple was able to have lots of loyal customer na wherein the customer may influence other consumer to buy apples as well. Well, actually, I'm part of this, no? Ano lang din ako, actually, Android user ako ever since. And then, since mostly sa office namin is Apple users and I can see na maganda yung quality niya, maganda yung ang dami kong naririnig na magagandang feedbacks sa paligid ko about the Apple. And that makes me buy Apple as well. So nag-switch na ako into Apple and of course ang ano niya, ang effect niya is increase in sales quantity because ako naririnig, kumbaga na ano lang ako naengganyo ko through hearsay na mga sinasabi lang nila and na napabili ako. Possible kasi na you can first persuade someone by just sharing your personal experience, di ba? So, that's also an effect of brand management. So, next is yung increased CLB. CLB is stands for customer lifetime value. So, dito naman since tumaas na yung sales quantity, increased sales quantity, tumaas na, brand management drives stronger value over the lifespan of a customer. Customers are more likely to repeat purchases if they have positive experience and may be more likely to buy different products along the same product line if they forge strong brand loyalty with a single brand. So, example ulit natin yung na-share ni Laurente before na ever since Apple user siya. So, bakit siya bumibili ng mga Apple products? Bakit hindi siya nagsuswitch sa Android? Siyempre, it comes to our mind na baka may pera lang siya, hindi naman pwedeng ganun. Kasi ang dami, kung tutuusin ngayon, marami na rin Android phones na halos uh, an- tumatapat na rin sila sa pricing ni Apple na ang mamahal na din, ang hindi na ma-afford. Pero bakit nga ba't nga ba niya ba't nga ba siya bumabalik ng bumabalik or iyon pa rin at iyon yung pinipili niya na brand? It's because nga kumbaga nakapag-establish na. Meron kasi magandang brand management si Apple wherein nakapag-establish na siya ng loyalty through Laurente. Parang ano na siya, hindi na siya napapalingon sa iba. Parang sa'yo lang, kontento na ako, gano'n. Kasi, ano na eh, kumbaga, ang ganda ng experience niya, may premium quality yung Apple, wala na siyang masave, kumbaga, hindi na siya binigyan ng reason ni Apple para pa maghanap ng iba pang brands. Kaya nag stick na siya doon. Kaya naging loyal customer na siya ng Apple brands. And then next is yung leverage pricing. So, if a company has a strong reputation now with the market, their brand management may be leveraged to other products. This means a company can sell products at a premium price if their brand invokes a strong enough connection to consumers. So what I have example, no, na mas mahal naman yung Apple kaysa sa mga Android. Bakit mas pinipili nila yung Apple? It's because meron ng mas premium yung quality na nai-offer na ni Apple. Kaya naman yung pricing din niya is pang premium na din. Kumbaga, hindi niya na kailangan sumabay or magbagsak presyo just to attract customers. Hindi niya na kailangan na bababaan niya rin yung presyo, mag-o-offer ng mga freebies just to have uh, consumers, no? Kasi nga, ano na siya maganda yung brand management nila wherein they 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 were able to establish their names na maganda yung quality talaga ng phone nila. So, ang nangyayari is, syempre, kung halimbawa, alam mo na yung product mo is premium na or mas mataas na siya against others, syempre mas mahal na din siya. Hindi mo na kailangan ibaba yung pricing mo kasi alam mo na kahit itaas mo man yun, meron pa rin bibili. Katulad niyan ngayon yung sa iPhone 15, 'di ba? Sabi nila ano lang halos wala ngang parang may mga changes pero konting-konti lang from iPhone 14 pero as you can see naman, no, ang dami pa rin bumibili ng iPhone 15. It's because they were able to establish na ng uh, their reputation na is maganda dahil sa maganda nilang brand management. So, next is volatile market position. So, though company always depress financial results during market downturns, companies with strong brand management may be able to weather the storm easier. This is because consumer may find it non-negotiable to deviate from companies they have strong positive associations with, even during incremental financial times. So, Um, ito yung, kasi yung sa ano nila, parang well established ka na, kumbaga na-negotiable na. Kung halimbawa, during pandemic, nasiraan ako ng phone, and then, since, kumbaga, yung ganda ng experience ko is na-experience ko lang talaga kay Apple, na-satisfy niya ako. Though, pandemic yun, alam natin na taghirap noon kasi may iba na ah, may mga nawala ng trabaho, ganito, ganyan. Pero for me, non-negotiable yun. Kumbaga, kahit na tapos ako or possible na hindi kaya ng budget ko, may credit card naman. Kumbaga, iisip ako ng paraan just para lang bumalik doon or bilhin pa rin yung same brand na ginagamit ko. Kasi iyon yung nakapag-satisfy sa akin. And that, pa, due to that, parang si Apple, kahit na nagkaroon ng pandemic, hindi sila masyadong, though affected sila, pero hindi sila masyadong, yung todo, kasi yung iba, di ba, nagsara pa, nag-cost cutting, nagtanggal ng mga employees. Si Apple, hindi siya masyadong magiging affected doon. It's because may mga loyal customers na sila, and yung mga loyal customers nila, mostly pa doon is kumbaga wala nang ibang brand pa na tinitignan, na negotiable na para sa kanila yung ibang brand, ayaw nila yun, and doon lang sila nag-i-stick sa Apple. So kahit na parang may unos na dumating kay or para sa ating lahat may financial difficulties, hindi sila masyadong affected kasi meron na silang loyal customers wherein bibili at bibili pa rin yun sa kanila. Kahit na meron mga financial situations na meron yung mga customers nila. So, next is yung um, the importance of innovation in brand management. So, kasi 'di ba the difference between brand management success and failure comes down to ongoing innovation. So kasi 'di ba one of the best example here is yung Nokia. Well, ako since high school no, ang ginagamit ko is Nokia talaga ako. Kasi yung parang mas ano siya, mas user friendly kasi siya 'di ba, kahit nga kaya mong mag-text ng maglalakad, ah kumbaga, ka kaya mo kabisaduhin yung keypad. Madali lang siyang gamitin, eh. It's just that mas matibay pa. Pero kasi bakit nga ba, nawala si Nokia sa market? So, it's because, they lack product innovation. Parang si Nokia kasi is nag-stick lang siya sa yun nga yung ayaw nila ng complicated na phone, dapat daw lahat kayang gamitin yung phone nila, ah, and hindi nila inadapt yung ah, smartphone, which is si Apple yung nakapag-introduce. Kaya naman, ngayon when it comes to phone, si Apple na yung, kumbaga kung before si Nokia yung nasa pedestal, ngayon si Apple na. It's because yung innovation, meron silang yung innovation na ginawa ni Apple sa phone is remarkable, and doon na nag-start yung parang nagkaroon ng turning point for them para sila yung maging number one and maungusan nila yung Nokia from being number one. So, what is product innovation? Product innovation refers to the creation and introduction of a product or service that is new to the market or a substantial novel iteration of an existing product. It includes improvement in components and materials, incorporated software, technical specifications, and other functional characteristics like user-friendliness. So, bakit nga ba kailangan ng product innovation sa isang company? As like what I've example before, uh, it could be the brand's turning point kasi para mag-boom siya sa market by 'di ba, kaya nga yung iPhone 15 ay yung Apple, though number one na sila, hindi pa rin sila tumitigil sa pag-create ng new model wherein they offer new features. So there are three types of product innovation. New product innovation, incremental changes of existing products, development of new product features. Yung sa new product innovation, ito talaga yung as in wala pang nakakapag-invent nun. Ikaw pa lang yung nauuna. Well, um, new product innovation, expert teams new products as either radical or disruptive because if they achieve a successful adoption rate, they can become game changer and cause a market shift. However, radical and disruptive innovations are harder to get right, have a lower success rate, and present more risk. Um, for this reason, they are not common because the challenging part is not coming up with a new idea, but driving market adoption. Success requires a systematic, proven way of taking ideas from conception to a marketable product. So, ano nito, no? For example is, ano bang magandang example? Kasi yung sa new product innovation, no, ito yung talagang bago pa lang. Possible na wala pang nag-exist na ganito. Um, hindi siya yung like may binagong features pang, no. Parang, for example, example lang to gulong na, I mean, um, upuan na umaandar. It's not wheelchair parang ano siya, may motor. Parang upuan lang talaga siya, wala kang cover, wala ka yung kumbaga yung ano niya, yung idea niya is trans for transpo siya. And since bago siya sa market, it's hard for them, parang ang daming ko question. Bakit ganyan? Walang cover. Siyempre, kumbaga i-compare sa mga sasakyan, um, sa tricycle, sa mga ganon, i-compare nila. Bakit ganyan? Kasi nga, parang yung idea is sobrang bago to the extent na parang hindi pa makope ng mga customers yung idea na ano yung gusto mong iparating sa amin, bakit nag-invento ka ng ganyan. Kumbaga kasi ang idea ng tao is endless yan eh. Especially yung mga inventors, ang dami nilang naiisip. Yung electric fan, before wala naman talagang electric fan, pay-pay lang. Kumbaga, hindi kasi tayo nakokontento kaya nagkakaroon ng mga inventions. And sa pag-create ng inventions, um, yung pag-introduce niya sa market, yun yung mahirap na part because hindi possible na hindi lahat is will embrace that innovation na ginawa mo. Especially kung new product siya and walang-wala pa talaga siya sa market. Parang anong sense yung kasi yung iba parang ang bilis lang nilang kaya yung iba ginagawa nila kasi is parang nagkakaroon na ng mga bagong features, kanya katulad ng mga ginagawa ng iPhone. Pero kasi kapag bagong product talaga, parang kailangan mo magba-back to zero ka niyan from paano gamitin, anong idea mo, ideology niyan, bakit ginawa mo yan. Kumbaga, um, since radical changes siya, parang ang hirap niyang ipaabot sa mga customers. Especially sa atin, halimbawa ngayon may pinakilala na new product, possible na hindi na natin siya i-embrace kasi nakaka-survive naman tayo everyday kahit wala yun, di ba? So, ayun yung thought niya. Kung bakit parang mahirap for the company to introduce new product innovation. And then, next is yung incremental changes of existing product. Well, incremental innovation aims of improving existing products. It's most lucrative and successful type of product innovation because it improves product enjoying relatively successful market adoption. It also meets the needs of consumer. Um, ang example nito, no, ito kasi yung sa incremental changes. Ito yung parang though may existing na product na ganito, kumbaga apakalaki nung malaking innovation yung ginawa. Um, one of the best example nito is yung smartphones, 'di ba? Before puro tayo mga ano lang, di keypad, wherein kung gusto mo mag-online, kailangan mo pa ng computer, um, iba yung mag-online ka pa, pupunta ka pa ng computer shop or kung ano, sa laptop ka pa gagamit. Unlike yung ginawa ni Apple, nung inintroduce niya yung smartphone is, andun na. Kumbaga, pinag-collaborate niya yung ah, pinag-collaborate niya na yung internet and yung mismong function ng phones, which is yung to make calls, text, ganon. Ngayon, ano na, kasi through smartphones na, pwede ka nang, aside from texting and calling, pwede ka na rin mag-online. Hindi ka na kailangan ng computer, hindi mo na kailangan ng computer or laptop para lang makapag-open ng social media ng Friendster mo. Ganon, kung may Friendster man ngayon, kasi wala nang Friendster ngayon, di ba? Pero dati kung, imagine kung Nokia pa rin yung gamit mo tapos may Friendster ka, di kailangan mo pang uh, mag-rent sa home shop para lang makapag-open or gumamit ng laptop para makapag-open. Pero kung baga na-introduce agad yung since na-introduce na ni Apple yung smartphone, pwede ka na mag-Friendster, pwede ka nang mag-text, pwede ka nang mag-call sa cellphone mo lang. Kumbaga, ang laki ng changes na ginawa sa um, nung Apple, and that is part of incremental changes of existing products. So, next is yung development of new product features. Ito naman it is very common, no? It is introducing new product features is the third type of product innovation. Developers and designers develop new features to improve products and increase their frequency and adoption. The trick is not to overburden consumers with numerous additional features that distract them from the product's original usability and utility. So, ayun na, yung example of this is Apple, from Apple, yung iPhone XR to iPhone 11. Ah, parang one of the, kumbaga parang ang new features lang na, actually may mga minimals na changes, but parang ang pinakatumatak sa akin no, na yung product features ng iPhone 11 from iPhone XR is yung may point 5 siya. 'Di ba? Yun yung parang ginagawa rin to ng Apple eh. Yung parang uh, ini-innovate lang nila yung existing product by adding more features na parang ano lang, konting tweak lang, ganon, para, kumbaga yung focus pa din, hindi sila ma-overwhelm na yung totally bago lahat. Kumbaga, parang, bago na yung operating system, bago na yung ganito, ganyan. Kumbaga, inaano lang nila na ititweak lang nila ng konti yung mga features or papagandahin lang nila, and that is under ng parang nung third na type is yung development of new product features. Parang ano lang, kung parang in-elevate lang nila ng konti, ganon. So next is yung what is intellectual property? Intellectual property is a broad categorical description for the sets of intangible assets owned and legally protected by a company or individual from outside use or implementation without consent. An intangible asset is a non-physical asset that a company or person owns. So, itong intellectual property, ito yung mga pinapa-register usually, no? Um, usually, hindi ko sinabing lahat. Ito yung mga intangible assets para sa mga ah, para sa products. Ito yung mga types ng intellectual property, no? It's patent. First is patent. Patent is a property right for an investor that's typically granted by a government agency The patent allows the inventor exclusive rights to the invention, which could be a design, process, improvement, or physical invention such as machine. So, ah pwede kong i-example dito yung gamot. For example, paracetamol. Um, yung mga paracetamol is yung kumbaga yung formulation niya, naka-patent yun, naka-register yun, na akin tong ano na yun. And actually, kung gusto mong, di ba meron na tayong mga generics kasi ngayon, marami ng generics. And that is, bibili nila yung formula from the original owner na nagpa-register or na nagpa-patent nung uh, formula na yun. Then, next is yung copyrights. Copyrights provide authors and creators original material and exclusive right to use, copy, or duplicate their materials. Authors of books have their works copyrighted as do musical artists. A copyright also states that the original creators can grant anyone authorization through a licensing agreement to use the work. So, um, example nito is yung sa mga kanta. Before yung kanta, bago nila gamitin yon is pinapaalam mismo dun sa composer, hindi sa singer. Kasi usually yung mga singer, iba ang composer sa singer. Yung singer is pinili lang by the composer and yung composer, sila mismo yung gumawa ng lyrics ng kanta. And nasa kanila yung copyright. Sila yung copyright owners. And for example, gusto mong gamitin tong kanta na to, pwede kang pwede kang magpaalam um, sa copyright owners. Sila yung may-ari ng mga intangible, kumbaga sila yung may-ari ng lyrics na yon. Though hindi mo nahahawakan yung lyrics na yon, kailangan mo pa rin ipaalam. It's because copyrighted siya. Next is yung trademarks. A trademark is a symbol, phrase, or insignia that is recognizable and represents a product that legally separate it from other products. A trademark is exclusively assigned to a company, meaning the company owns the trademark so that no others may use it or copy it. So, ano na to, no? Ang number one example nito, yung nangyari sa Itbulaga. So, yung Itbulaga is, um, kumbaga registered siya under ni Tape Inc. Though, though ang nakaisip, originally ang nakaisip nun is ang TVJ, talaga yung, kumbaga sila yung nag-found nun eh. Sila yung nakaisip nun, it's just that hindi nila napa-register. So, si Tape Inc., siya yung nagpa-register ng trademarks and ang ending nun is sila na yung may-ari ng trademark. Kaya, that is also parang importance ng registering ng intellectual property mo is because possible talaga siyang manakaw. And then, next is yung um, franchises. So, yung franchises is a license that a company, individual, or party called that a franchisee, which is yung bumibili nung say line um, na gamitin nila yung name, trademark, proprietary knowledge, and processes. So, we are all aware naman no, yung sa mga fast food. Usually, yung fast food, yun ba, Jollibee. Yung Jollibee, hindi naman Jollibee Corporation lang yung may-ari niyan. Usually, mga franchisee yung mga ano yan, may-ari. Kumbaga, yung bibilhin nila yung trademark, yung knowledge. Kasi si Jollibee, sila na yung minsan talaga, I mean, madalas. Pagka yung mga franchisee is, sila yung nagbibigay ng gamit, yung logo. Actually, ginagaya na lang nila yung sa from the franchisor. And then, yung process. Kasi parang nagkakaroon yan sila ng standard process, no? And then, especially yung products. Hindi naman pwede na, halimbawa, Jollibee. Kasi itong Jollibee na, for example, na nasa Novaliches, is may sarili siyang, may sarili siyang supplier ng products nila. No. Because, kumbaga, inline lahat yan, iisa lang yung supplier nila, iisa lang dapat yung lasa, yung SOP nila, dapat iisa lang din. And that is franchise. Next is yung trade secret. Trade secret is a company's process or practice that is not public information which provides an economic benefit or advantage to the company or holder of the trade secret. Excuse. Trade secret must be actively protected by the company and are typically the result of companies' research and development, which is some employers require the signing of non-disclosure agreement. So, itong trade secrets, no, ito yung mga example, one of the example niya is yung chili powder ng Jollibee. 'Di ba, though 'di ba masarap siya, maraming patronizer yung spicy chicken nila kasi iba yung lasa, parang nagbe-blend siya sa Chicken Joy talaga. Hindi siya yung it's not like the usual chili powder lang na na matapang lang pero hindi siya nagja-jive dun sa lasa ng chicken. So, bakit walang nagbebenta nung chili powder? Yung kumbaga yung formulation ng chili powder na yun, bakit hindi kalat? It's because it's one of the trade secrets. Wherein si Jollibee lang talaga yung nakabili and sila lang yung pwedeng manufacture no or mag-produce nung ganong product. Next is yung digital asset. Digital asset are increasingly recognized as IP. This would include proprietary software code, algorithms, and online digital content. So, yung digital asset naman, ito yung one of the example na naisip ko dito is yung mga codes. Mga codes uh, that can create ng program or website. Ito yung syempre kasi yung binibili din yan eh yung mga codes kasi 'di ba may mga usually talaga may mga codes na established kung yung gusto mo na basic na website lang, may mga nag-o-offer na ng ganyan na may mga codes na tas ikaw na lang kumbaga ikaw na lang yung magtu-tweak, imo-modify mo na lang siya and babaguhin mo na lang, may konti ka na lang babaguhin, konting changes na lang para kumbaga para siyang generic for everyone. Tas it's up to you na kung paano mo siya pagagandahin um, yung ibibigay nila sa'yo na codes. And that's for digital asset. So, meron tayong different types of brand infringement and abuse. So, um, first is yung copyright piracy. Yung copyright piracy, kasi di ba yung copyrights is, it provides exclusive rights to the copyright holder, like the right to produce, distribute, display, or perform the protected work. Kasi yung dito sa copyright piracy, ito na yung parang ginamit yung um, gawa mo without your knowledge. So, um, these are third parties who use copyrighted materials without permission from the copyright owner. So, halimbawa niyan is yung gumamit ka ng poem na hindi ikaw yung mismong nag hindi ikaw mismo yung sumulat and then ginamit mo siya sa isang speech like for example lang, and that is one of the copyright piracy. Then next is yung trademark infringement. Trademarks are a protection of intellectual property like a recognizable sign, design, or expression that identifies products or services from a particular source and distinguishes them from others. Infringements occurs when one uses a trademark that is identical or similar to a trademark owned by another party. So, ang naisip ko dito, ito kasi yung mga possible na may kamukha na ah, na trade na logos. One of the example niyan is yung sa PCSO, 'di ba? Meron sila na ni-release na yung letter, yung PCSO is almost same nung sa logo ng, if I'm not mistaken, it's Petron. Halos parehas. And that cause ng parang nagkaroon ng chaos noon kasi ang mahal pa nung binayad nila tapos gagayahin lang pala yung sa logo ng Petron, 'di ba? So, ayun kung tutusin kung like almost similar talaga, pwedeng si Petron since established na yun sa kanila, pwede silang mag-file ng case as a trademark infringement kasi halos kaparehas nung sa Petron yung yung ginawa nung sa PCSO. And then next is yung trademark squatting. So, trademark squatting naman is this is when a party register a trademark without the intention to use it. It may include foreign registration when a brand has yet to enter the market. So ito yung trademark squatting, ito yung parang pina-register ko siya with the intent of selling them. Parang pina-register ko siya, parang naisip ko na, possible mo tong gamitin. Ako yung nagpa-register, pero hindi ko siya balak gamitin. Kumbaga, ibebenta ko lang siya sa iyo at a higher price kasi ako yung nagpa-register para ikaw na yung maging trademark owner. And that's type of trademark squatting. Next is yung patent infringement. Patents provide a legal rights to exclude others from making, using, or selling an invention for a limited period of time. Using a patented invention or process without permission or licensing is a patent theft. Yung example ko na lang ulit is yung sa Itbulaga. 'Di ba? Yung sa Itbulaga. Though si TVJ talaga yung nakaisip or sila yung mastermind nung pangalan na yon, they can't use it because parang ano yun naka registered by uh, um, registered by Tape Inc. And as well as sila kasi yung patent owner na kahit yung merchandise kasi parang naka-register sa kanila is puro merchandise lang. So, hindi din magamit ng TVJ kasi di ba lumipat na sila sa Channel 5, hindi nila magamit yung logo kasi yung logo na yon is patented yun. Kumbaga, naka-register yun and actually na-renew rin yun ng Tape Inc. So, sila pa rin yung owner ng patent na yun. Hindi magagamit ng TVJ yun, yung owner na yun, yung patent na yun, kahit sila pa yung nakaisip. So, pagka ginamit nila yon, that is what we call patent infringement, wherein hindi ikaw yung patent owner pero ginamit mo. Parang nag-distribute ka or ginamit mo siya pero usually naman kasi ito ginagamit sa mga TVs mo kasi parang masyadong broadcast yung parang inano mo na lang din na kasuhan nyo na kami. Parang ganun kasi maraming nakakanood and possible talaga na magkaroon ng chaos kapag ganun. So, next is yung counterfeiting. Counterfeiting is the creation, marketing, distribution, and sale of fake products and designed to cash in on a legitimate brand's good name. Counterfeit goods are everywhere, even in Amazon and distressing places like pharmaceutical drugs. Actually, uh, very laganap to sa atin, no? Yung counterfeit goods, ito yung mga, um, they pretend na, we call this premium quality. Ito yung mga Class A's, merong OEM. Ito yung mga ginagamit nila. For example niyan is, for rubber shoes, merong mga, hindi nila masabi kasi na, like, ito talaga yung galing yan sa Nike. No, because ang usually ginagamit na lang nila is OEM, pero yung logo na nakalagay doon is Nike. Parang, and that's type of counterfeiting wherein ginagamit nila yung name ng brand para makapagbenta sila ng mas marami. Pero, kumbaga, hindi talaga sila yung legit na distributor or hindi yung binibenta nila is hindi galing sa sa manufacturer ni Nike. Excuse. Next is design infringement. So, sa design infringement is where brand owners can register design, the visual form, or product of other item for protection. Use of the protected design during the registration period can amount to infringement. So, yung ito naman yung design infringement is yung um, gagamit, 'di ba yung before sa counterfeiting kasi is parang binibenta mo siya. Kumbaga parang ginagaya mo siya para ibenta. Ito naman yung design infringement is yung parang ginagawa mo lang siya and then halos same dun sa mga established na designs. Meron yan example no yung sa Louis Vuitton, yung ginawa nilang LV yung bahay, yung like buong bahay nilagyan nila ng um, decals ng LV, which is pwede rin ma-consider as design infringement since though hindi naman nila intended na ibenta yung bahay, pero kasi hindi, kumbaga, registered yun and hindi naman nila pinaalam yun sa owner nung ng design na yon. Next is social media impersonation. Uh, Social media impersonation is falsely presenting oneself as a public figure or brand on various social media platforms. Often this includes an attempt to confuse users or present the entity in a negative light. Brand impersonation can occur in just about any online setting. So, parang ang pinaka-common dito na example na naisip ko is yung mga poser. 'Di ba, since nag parang for example, artista. And ang artista kasi is sila mismo yung product na sa sarili nila para maibenta yung talent nila. And then maraming gumagawa ng mga poster accounts and then magpo-post sila as if sila talaga yung artista. So, that is part of social media impersonation. So, next is actually ito yung meron kasi ito yung imitation sites. Yung Rog websites kasi parang um, example niyan is yung parang dadagdagan mo lang ng dash. Yung sa Roche website is parang almost same ng mga legit na websites, pero dadagdagan lang ng dash. So, possible yung mga ginagawa sa phishing, yung sinesend nila na link, that is a Roche website where um, it may, though pareha sila, possible na almost same sila ng link, pero sa ibang, sa iba kang mapupunta. And that's part of Roche website. And then yung um, imitation sites naman, talon lang tayo dito sa ano. Yung imitation sites naman, ito yung almost same din. Pero nagkakaroon naman siya ng additional word. Like halimbawa, di ba kapag ka nagsisearch tayo, kapag may typographical error tayo dun sa ano, kahit na pag in-enter mo siya, meron possible pa rin na may link na available for that kahit na typo error naman tayo. And that is ah, imitation sites. Yung parang gumagaya sila ng almost same talaga na ano, it's just that nag-aano lang sila ng mga typo errors para dun dadirect yung consumer kapag hinanap nila tong site nila na to and nagkaroon ng typo errors. So, balik tayo sa cyber squatting. So, cyber squatting is deliberate abusive registration of a domain name in violation of trademark rights by bad actors. This can also include registering a bunch of domains that relates to a brand's name. So, um, ito naman yung sa cyber squatting, no, yung ang dami niyang nire-register na domain or websites for them pero without the intent of using this. Parang lahat ng possible web or domain or websites para sa established na brand is parang ni-register niya na. And that is type of cyber squatting. So next is yung typo squatting. Typo squatting is deliberate abusive registration of domain name that contains a typo version of trademark that relies on user error Rog website. Parang ayun nga magkaroon lang ng error possible na ma-direct ka mayroon pa ring website na available kahit na ano ka naman na typo ka. Kasi possible na at ito naman sa typo squatting, sila pinapa-register naman nila yung um, mga may typo errors na ng mga legit na domain ng mga brands. So, of course, para sa mm, uh, for us to maiwasan to prevent this from happening, uh, kailangan syempre magkakandak tayo ng brand protection solutions and strategies para maiwasan natin yung infringements and abuse. So, first is yung intellectual property portfolio management. So, it is having all the intellectual property in one place of a massive importance for its protection and management. Brand often hire outside IP management providers if they don't do it in-house. So dito parang lahat ng intellectual properties, I mean hindi lang intellectual, uh, I mean hindi lang for example kasi possible na patent and copyright yung hawak nila. So hindi lang nagfo-focus sa isang type ng intellectual property to. Kumbaga nandito lahat nakalist lahat ng intellectual property na meron ng isang company. Then next is yung business intelligence and monitoring. So dito naman it's about collecting, analyzing disparate data about infringement is a monumental task but one that must be prioritized. Depending on the industry, this might include scanning for online and offline infringements, authentication of infringement, detecting counterfeiting operations, and other efforts. So, ito naman, business intelligence and monitoring, no? Ang example na naiisip ko dito is yung mga social media moderators. Ito yung mga parang, di ba, usually, kasi sa atin ngayon, it's easy for us to report a content, especially if we know na, uh, if we know na fake siya or counterfeit item siya. So, yung iba, yung sa social media moderator, sila yung nagre-review kung fake ba talaga to. And sila yung nagmo-monitor kung itong ano na to is nagpo-produce ng mga counterfeit items, ganun. Dito na sa yung business intelligence and monitoring, sila yung intel. Kumbaga lahat ng mga kumbaga titingnan nila kung may mga violators ng or merong infringement na nagaganap with their brands. So, next is yung threat prioritization analysis. With substantial biz intel data, a brand can analyze the biggest brand abuse and infringement threats and prioritize which to tackle first. Between this business intelligence, brands can validate detected infringements. So, since si business intelligence and monitoring is sila na yung summarize or nasa kanila na yung data, si threat prioritization analysis is siya naman yung responsible para tignan alin ba yung pinaka-common types of infringement na meron sa atin. Parang, is it counterfeit goods ba? Is it copyright infringement ba? Is it yung patent ba? Patent infringement ba? So, dito sa threat prioritization analysis, syempre yung pinaka-majority na infringement or abuse na naganap is mostly yun yung mas ina-address nila. Parang titignan systematically yan para to eliminate yung mga violations. Then next is yung IP enforcement. Enforcing IP protection is another important but often extremely difficult brand protection strategy. Determining the infringing parties, the types of infringement, and taking action against abuser using brand and legal means all fall under this heading. So this process attempts to remove infringements, often by reporting infringement to regulatory bodies or law enforcement. So example niyan is yung mga fake na websites. Of course, hindi naman yun basta-basta na-take down. It must be reported sa kinauukulan para makonduct or magawa yung ma-shutdown kung websites na to. Kasi there's possibility talaga na yun, di ba, ang dami nating cyber squatting, yung mga imitations, madami talagang ganun na napaparegister. Pero, kumbaga, nasa sayo kung paano ka aalma ka and how you'll do an action para ma-correct yung tingin mo is infringement on your part. Kasi para, for example, yung sa Petron and PCSO, si Petron, hindi naman siya nag-file ng legal claim about dun sa design na meron si PCSO. So, nagkaroon na, walang ganap. Kumbaga, walang legal claims na natanggap si PCSO. So, next is yung social media monitoring. Sa social media monitoring naman is given the ubiquity of online counterfeiters and scammers on social media platforms, brands must also keep a close watch for these infringing parties and their social media accounts. So, ito yung actually itong social media monitoring, no, I've been part of this before wherein yung mga business owners is nag-hire sila ng mga parties that will help them to report a page. Kasi example nito is yung mga um, yung mga photographers na para lang ma-approve yung legitimacy of transactions with you. And then 'di ba mostly sa mga businesses is nagpo-post sila ng ganun. And then may mga ibang business naman na ginagaya lang nila yung or grab photo, though meron na yung watermark, yung iba kasi magaling talaga mag-edit na natatanggal nila. I-grab nila yung photo and then ipopost nila as if it's their own transaction. So, and we're, isisend sa amin, ang ginagawa namin nun before is yung, isisend sa amin yung link ng mga websites na gumagamit ng mga proofs na yon, and then kami yung magre-report, parang mass reporting yung ginagawa namin. So, next is yung online marketplace monitoring. So, online marketplace is the popularity of online marketplaces means the brands must have a monitoring presence across them and invest in anti-counterfeiting efforts. So, actually, I'm not so sure, no, pero kasi ang dami pa rin or laganap sa social media kasi 'di ba online marketplace or sabihin na natin sa Shopee, Lazada, sa TikTok, kumbaga laganap talaga to yung mga counterfeit items na nakatatak Chanel pero nakabaliktad yung L. Kumbaga, yung iba, hindi naman talaga nila sinasadya yun, nasa production yun. It's just because, kasi fake talaga yung binibenta nila. 'Di ba meron pa nga yun yung Adidas nakalagay, Abibas. Hindi rin yun because possible na mali din yung production pero counterfeit items din kasi yun kasi ang usually syempre yung mga ginagaya nila is yung mga premium items which is expensive and of course magaganda yung mga quality nun and may quality assurance yun before pa ibigay kay consumer. So yung mga marami talaga kasi tumatangkilik sa online marketplace. Kaya a business must have nagmo-monitor ng mga marketplaces para for them to know kung gaano ba kalaganap yung um, counterfeit items, yung mga ganun. Yung patent ba nila is nagagamit, and then they can file illegal claims kapag napatunayan na um, um, na merong infringement or violations na ginawa yung store owner. Kung halimbawa dun sa Shopee, Lazada, or TikTok. So, next is yung online advertising monitoring. So, for brands that sell physical products, online and monitoring comes into play. This means keeping an eye out of an e-commerce advertisement that point to counterfeit products. Counterfeit listings or knockoffs are a major issue. So, ayun nga, kasi counterfeit items are very, di ba, laganap sa Philippines. Where in parang kasi ito lang yung afford natin eh. Mostly, yun yung ah, parang ito yung dahilan kung bakit maraming nagtatakilik ng counterfeit items because hindi natin afford yung premium quality. Kaya ito na lang tayo sa imitation. Dito na lang tayo sa counterfeit items. So, yung itong online advertising monitoring kasi, 'di ba may mga ah, yung possible kasi na yung mga ah, 'di ba yung mga counterfeit items, tapos halimbawa counterfeit item siya tapos ginagamit yung mismong advertisement ng premium brands which is parang masisira talaga yung yung brand name because ang ginamit niya is yung kumbaga yung quality, um, yung quality materials na dinidiscuss dun sa may commercial na yon is for the premium quality tapos ginagamit ng counterfeit items. I mean, ginagamit ng mga nagbebenta ng counterfeit items. So, it's possible na masisira yung brand na yun. Kasi, syempre, ikaw, halimbawa, ang advertise sa'yo is ganito. Tapos, hindi mo alam na counterfeit or knock-off items pala yung nabenta sa'yo. And then, possible na magkakaroon ka ng bad impression or bad experience dun sa product na yun and masisira yung product na yun though hindi naman talaga nila kasalanan. Di ba? And that's part of online advertising monitoring. And then next is yung the last one is yung partnership and supply chain monitoring. Brands can also pursue IP abusers through their IP means infringement protection abuser. So yung IP is infringement IP abusers through their partners and even their supply chains, distributors and sellers. Often these parties can help detect abuses and empower one's brand protection strategy. So one of the example is yung sa mga fast food chain. 'Di ba, as you can see, no, halimbawa yung chicken ng Jollibee is hindi mo mabibili sa tabi-tabi lang. Kumbaga yung dough, yung chicken is very madami namang choices, pero yung timpla, yung lasa, hindi, walang magbebenta ng ganun sa market. Kumbaga, yung formulation nila, walang nagbebenta nun sa market. It's because of, meron silang NDA, which is yung non-disclosure agreement, and that means na hindi pwedeng, kung for example, si outside the Jollibee is merong mismong supplier ng formulation ng chicken, hindi nila pwedeng ibenta yung formulation na yun sa iba kasi sa amin nyo lang binenta yan. and that's part of partnership and supply chain monitoring. Possible din na halimbawa, poultry, chickens, hindi pwedeng, 'di ba, may contract ako kay Jollibee, and then parang nagkaroon ng shortage si Chowking sa chicken. Hindi pwedeng babawasan ko yung supply ko kay Jollibee and magbibigay ako ng some of my chickens kay kay Chowking just to make the deal. Hindi din pwede yun. It's because nga kailangan the brand should exercise na yung rights niya wherein kailangan yung sa chain nung bago pa yung chain na dinadaanan ng mga products bago pa makaabot kay consumer, dapat yon is secured and walang parang para masasabi mo na yung process na yon is parang stable siya. Hindi siya pwedeng o ikaw, for example ito is ako ngayon kay Jollibee ako magsusupply and then next year kay naman Chowking. Meron yan, usually nasa agreement naman yun yung terms and kailangan I mean kailangan they exercise their rights, especially kung halimbawa yun nga nagkaroon ng shortage tapos malaman mo na kaya pala nagkaroon ng shortage sa supply sa inyo, it's because gumawa siya ng partnership sa iba pa, pwede kang file ng claim doon. So overall, ito yung mga yung types of what is brand management, elements ng brand management, product and product innovation and types of product innovation, yung yung mga types of infringements. This is our these types of brand protection solutions and strategies that a brand management can use to avoid infringement violations. Ayun lang po.
Okay, so again, brand management, which is sometimes referred to as marketing, no, assume the responsibility for the comprehensive administration of a brand. No? This encompasses a wide range of activities, no, spanning from the creation and refinement of products to the strategic promotion and communication efforts, such as marketing, advertising, and public relations. The various elements, no, synergistically contribute to the formation of a distinct perception or understanding of a brand. The objective of brand management is to establish a resilient and favorable reputation for a brand, ultimately leading to heightened sales and market dominance. And these procedures facilitate the development of a distinct identity for items or services offered by the firms inside the marketplace. So the implementation of an effective brand management plan has the potential to cultivate client loyalty and enhance their market share. So in order to establish a robust brand identity, it is imperative for companies to possess a comprehensive understanding of the various facets of brand management. The importance of brand management cannot be overstated due to numerous factors. Now, the establishment of an emotional bond between the consumer and the company facilitates the development of customer loyalty and enhances the client's long-term worth to the organizations. Because brand management can additionally facilitate and organizations in implementing a higher pricing point for its products or services. As our presenter mentions regarding the iPhone, no, as you can see, though, they could of course, their pricing is different from the other products, no, available in the same functions. Now, conceptualize brand management as a metaphorical garden. The act of sowing one's seed symbolizing the establishment of a brand inside the confines of a garden, is undertaken with the aspiration of yielding the most desirable and optimal BGs, so fulfilling one utmost aspiration. So the initial action has been undertaken, and now it is important to determine the precise methodology for irrigating the seeds in order to guarantee their growth and subsequent flourishing into aesthetically pleasing plants. So the potential of a product to succeed may be hindered by inadequate brand management. So, limiting the opportunity for individuals to engage with it, the significance of your management plan lies in this aspect. In essence, brand management entails the strategic management of a product or service to establish a strong connection with its prospective customers. It serves as a unifying element that harmonizes many aspects of the business, ultimately leading to customer satisfaction and overall success. Of course, brand management benefits, having acquired an understanding of the concept and significance of brand management, it is now pertinent to explore the various advantages that may be anticipated from its implementation. The implementation of brand management is crucial for business seeking to enhance profitability and establish a dominant market positions within their respective industries. And there exist numerous strategies for brand management, encompassing various approaches such as advertising and public relations initiatives. So, of course, brand management is a strategic undertaking that facilitates the establishment and perpetuation of a distinctive and singular corporate image. The establishment of a robust brand has the potential to distinguish a firm from its rivals and enhance its appeal to their clientele. Yes. On the other hand, when we say brand equity, it refers to the inherent value in perception that a brand holds in the mind of customers. It represents the level of recognition, trust, loyalty, and positive associations that customers have with a particular brand. Because brand equity is not just about the products or services a brand offers, it encompasses the emotional and psychological connection consumers form with the brand. A strong brand equity is an asset that can lead to increased customer loyalty, premium pricing, and competitive advantage. And of course, the two main dimensions of brand equity is the brand awareness and the brand image. When it comes to brand positioning, kanina nabanggit ng presenter, brand positioning is the strategic process of defining how a brand is perceived in the minds of a target consumers relative to its competitors. It involves creating a unique and a favorable space for the brand in the market where it occupies a distinct position that sets it apart from others. Effective brand positioning helps consumers understand what a brand stands for, the value it offers, and why they choose it over all alternatives. So the establishment of a strong brand positioning strategy enables the formation of a cognitive representation that customers link with the brand, so enabling it to secure a unique and esteemed positions within the market. Because the primary functions of this practice is to provide direction for marketing endeavors, communications, and the overarching brand strategy with the aim of achieving coherence and resonance with the intended target audience. The process of constructing and overseeing robust brands is a strategic endeavor that encompasses the development and cultivation of a brand identities, equity, and consumer interaction. Again, a robust brand is characterized by its ability to acknowledge, relied upon, and esteemed by its intended demographic. So, the process of establishing and overseeing robust brands necessitates a comprehensive methodology that integrates strategic analysis, efficient communication, a focus on client needs, and a dedication to providing unwavering value. So, a robust brand not only foster customer alliance but also enhances long-term organizational prosperity and cultivates a favorable brand perception within the marketplace. When it comes to innovation, the process of innovation and new product development encompasses the generation, conceptualization, and implementation of novel products, services, or enhancement to existing ones within the marketplace. Because the implementation of these strategies is crucial for organizations in order to maintain competitiveness, adapt to evolving consumer demands, and foster expansion. So, in order to maintain a competitiveness, react to evolving consumer tastes, and foster sustainable growth, organization must prioritize the implementation of effective innovation and new product development initiatives. Napansin nyo, ang bilis ng iPhone, no? iPhone 15 na kaagad. And the successful implementation of these strategies involves a combination of imaginative thinking, meticulous strategic formulation, comprehensive understanding of customer behavior, and a steadfast dedication to provide customer with substantial benefits. But don't forget, intellectual property and brand protection must consider. Intellectual property encompasses various forms of human creativity, including but not limited to inventions, literary and creative works, design, symbols, names, and features that are utilized in commercial activities. So intellectual property is safeguarded by legal frameworks which grant artists and innovators that privilege of possessing exclusive rights to their creation. Brand protection is a specific area within the realm of intellectual property that is concerned with the preservation and defense of the unique components that constitute a brand identity. So, the brand protection is a crucial aspect that ensures the preservation of a brand's reputation, mitigates any financial losses resulting from counterfeiting activities, and upholds client confidence. Intellectual property rights are of paramount importance in safeguarding the works of one's creation and innovation while simultaneously granting the ability to regulate their utilization and disseminations within the marketplace. And we have, of course, the Republic Act 8293, no? The Intellectual Property Code and establishment of the Intellectual Property Office. No? Meron tayo niyan, intellectual property. We have, of course, Republic Act 8293. This will be, of course, the outlining its power, functions, and further objectives for the Intellectual Property Office per se. No? So I think that's it for this topic. Okay, so may I request everyone to please turn on your camera for for us to take a picture as part of our attendance. So thank you so much for the presenter. So next meeting we may proceed to chapter number what be chapter or module number 5, that is integrated marketing communications. Okay, so wait now.